Welcome to First and Fantasy, where we discuss everything fantasy football and NFL. It is a happy Sunday to you, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sitting here in 5 Sundays from now, we will be having an NFL Sunday, the first one of the year, so very, very exciting. If you're new to the channel, please drop a like and subscribe. We are trying to grow this channel. We're going to be dropping full-length videos every single day, as well as shorts that are different from the full-length videos. So if you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, that would be great. Without further ado, we are going to be discussing something awesome today, and that is one player we are targeting in every single round of the first 8 rounds of the draft. To me, the first 8 rounds are the most premium rounds in the draft. Obviously, you have your first and second, third, fourth, that kind of scales down, but those 8 draft picks are the most important in my mind, and they all hold high value. I can tell you right now, I have multiple targets in each round that I'm going after, but today we're just going to be singling out my absolute favorite one in each round. I'll post some shorts later that have a few of those other guys, but today I'm giving you the absolute best in each round to keep things simple for you. All right, let's start with round 1. This is the elite players, the cream of the crop, and here's the thing, you're generally not going to go wrong here. If you watched my other video about who to avoid in this round, it was Christian McCaffrey. Be sure to watch that entire video because I go through 8 rounds on who to avoid in each round. So he's maybe a bomb that you want to avoid, but there are a lot of amazing elite players in this tier, obviously. So I wanted to take this time to discuss who I think the overall running back one is this year. And it's really a debate between Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions and Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. Currently, Jahmyr Gibbs is going ahead of Bijan Robinson. In my personal opinion, Bijan Robinson very slightly is the better overall player than Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not a knock on Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, we are splitting hairs here, but I personally have not seen a running back as complete, as good at every facet of the game as he can possibly be compared to everyone else in the league than Bijan Robinson. He is an absolute beast. Just the other day, they revealed his photo. He looks like freaking Jafar and Genie form from Aladdin. He's got this huge thing, ponytail coming off his hair. That dude, I don't want to have to tackle that dude. I don't want to have to run that guy down. He can pass block. He can catch. He can run inside the tackles, outside the tackles. For my money, pound for pound, he is the best running back in the NFL. Now, what does that mean, though, when it comes to fantasy terms? Because he's currently going behind Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs got a little overworked at the end of last season. He got worn down. His numbers did not hold up down the stretch as teams started to key in on him. You could tell he was starting to lose his legs a little bit. I never saw that with Bijan Robinson. And Bijan Robinson's situation only gets better this year. Not to say Gibbs doesn't get better too. David Montgomery is gone for Jahmyr Gibbs, which gives him an even bigger workload. But it already felt like they'd completely phased Montgomery out of that offense by the end of the year. Whereas Bijan Robinson, he gets to shed Tyler Algier, who's actually a really solid running back and has been since he entered the NFL. For whatever reason, the Falcons organization decided to draft Tyler Algier, who is really good. And then they were like, oh, you know what? We don't have any deficiencies anywhere else. Let's just load up on running back and get Bijan Robinson. So the rest of their team suffered, and they just had a really good running back and then an elite running back, which kudos to them. It's not resulting in wins, but I guess they got everyone at running back. Good job, Falcons. But with Algier gone this year, Bijan Robinson has that entire backfield. I really, truly believe he is going to be the RB1 this year. And in his first 2 seasons, he finished top 3 in his first 2, but he hasn't been that number 1 spot yet. This is the year that he gets there. Last thing to note on Bijan Robinson, every time that dude touches the ball, he makes 1 to 2 people miss. He hits open space. He was averaging 5.1 yards per carry. That's like LaDainian Tomlinson in his prime. And Bijan Robinson is in his prime. So I know you're like, we're really picking between 2 here, but like, at the top if you have the 1 or 2 spot. But if it's me, even if you have the overall 1, we're taking Bijan Robinson. All right, on to round 2. We are going to be talking about a guy I mentioned in another video, and I'm very high on this year for a bounce back season, and that is Saquon Barkley. We did make a full other video about some of our favorite bounce back candidates, so if you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out. Saquon Barkley gets a new offensive coordinator. Thank goodness. The toxicity problem with AJ Brown is out. We really have a core group here that's like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, and I think those 3 are going to get everything for Philadelphia this year. Saquon went from the running back 1 overall to running back 13 last year. That was a horrible drop off. But for a guy that has RB3 upside, RB5 upside, and I really think he returns to his elite self this year with a new offensive coordinator, a bolstered offensive line. He is an absolute steal in the second round right now. And like, I mean, just think about your lineup. Imagine if we go and get Bijan and Saquon falls in the second round and you're sitting on your first 2 picks at Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley. Like, you're set. You're going to the playoffs with just those 2 picks. So Saquon is a huge smash for me. I think he hits double-digit touchdowns. Last year, he still had like 1,400 overall yards. It didn't feel like that because a lot of the explosive plays weren't there, and a lot of the weeks were kind of hit or miss. But, you know, I think that probably gets up to 1,600 yards this year, and he ends probably around running back 5. Definitely take Saquon if he falls to you in the second round. Moving to round 3, this guy is going towards the top of round 3, and I'm seeing him fall in this round a lot. Like, I'm honestly shocked that he's falling this far in as many drafts as I'm looking at, but that is wide receiver 1 for the Houston Texans, Nico Collins. This dude has potential to be the overall wide receiver 1 in the entire league if he could stay healthy. That's a big if. Now, normally, for those who have watched my videos, I don't like to draft injury-ridden players, but I just think this value on Nico Collins is too good. He's still young enough to be right around the prime of his career, and you know he wants to be consistent this year and be in that elite conversation with the guys like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and there's some really good news for him. He's probably going to see a few less doubles this year. Tank Dell is coming back. He's looking fully healthy. I mean, think about this. Nico Collins averaged over 15 yards a catch last year, and he's one of the highest in the league on yards per route run. All this to say, if Nico Collins stays healthy, he's an absolute steal in the third round. He's a guy that, if he stays healthy, he's going to post top 3 wide receiver numbers in the entire league, and next season you're going to be seeing him go in the first round, high to mid first. Like, take that risk on Nico Collins if he's late second, third round. I'm smashing that dude. Like, we're looking through these rounds here. We could be potentially at Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins. Like, that's unbelievable. And to get Tank Dell back, I think they get him going more this year, and I think the whole passing attack gets better this year. Go grab Tank Dell super late in the draft and stack him with Nico Collins. Like, if you get Nico Collins here, I don't think you have to touch another wide receiver for 6-7 rounds. You can go get Tank Dell later, have a nice stack, build up your quarterback, running back, and tight end positions. We will do a full video where we go through an entire draft and do some draft builds and show how to build out a winning roster, mistakes to avoid, things you want to look for. That will be coming probably in a week or 2, so definitely be sure to like and subscribe so you can follow along with the mindset of what we're looking to do this season. All right, this next player is very interesting. He is going, you know, I'm seeing him fall to the 4th round, but I'm also seeing him go as high as the 2nd for people who reach. You know, I'm going to say 4th round here, but I'm more consistently seeing him like back end of the 3rd right now. And that is rookie running back Jeremiah Love. He is an absolute monster. And just think about that name, Jeremiah Love. That sounds like a dude who's going to be able to run through a freaking brick wall in the NFL. He also goes to the Arizona Cardinals, where running backs have been just consistently productive there. James Conner was productive there for a long time. Before that, you had David Johnson. For whatever reason, running backs run well in Arizona. He can run the ball. He's a good pass catcher. He is clearly going in as their feature 3-down back. They used an overall 3rd round pick on him. You do not do that unless you are going to feature this guy in your offense. And here's the value I absolutely love in Love is he's going in that 3rd, 4th round right now, where you see guys like Ashton Genty was going like top first round last year. And every year there's the highest running back typically in the draft that goes to a bad NFL team is going in the first round. And so it feels like finally, I never draft rookie running backs that high because they're always going to bad teams, but it feels like finally the fantasy world is taking a step back and ranking him lower. And at this value, I absolutely love Jeremiah Love. So go and get him. I think he is going to be a bell cow. I think he's going to be just absolutely fantastic for your team. And if you haven't gotten a running back, if you've kind of gone zero RB for now, maybe you went wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, whatever. He is an awesome first running back to have, in my opinion. Next, we're going to be talking about Travis Etienne Jr. for round 5. And see him go kind of round 4, round 5-ish, depending on the points. But if we're talking half PPR, which is kind of what we're evaluating off of here, then I'm seeing him go round 5 enough to where I'm happy to talk about him here. But just keep in mind that these rankings are always changing. I'm mostly seeing him fall to round 4, which I'm also happy to get him in if he's towards the end of round 4. Travis Etienne goes to New Orleans, where Alvin Kamara is just really at the tail end of his career, and they're clearly bringing Etienne in after his best year as a pro to become their featured back. They just signed Chris Olave to a huge deal. Love Tyler Shuck, their quarterback situation. I think the Saints have a really exciting offense this year. Travis Etienne's great out of the passing game as well. I think he did a great job getting into the end zone last year. He's an easy RB2, but he has back-end RB1 upside. If he's your first running back, I don't necessarily like that, but if you can maybe go with a Jeremiah Love and then a Travis Etienne as your 2 running backs, I feel really good about that. You're gonna have those guys finishing likely in that like RB8 to RB15 range every single week and probably just massing like, you know, anywhere from 20 to 40 points every single week consistently. Those 2 guys are going to be consistent, and that's what we look for in fantasy football. You'll see these guys that are just throwing darts all the time, boom and bust players. It's fun. You can have these guys that get big upside, but the problem, if you miss so often or even a little bit on those boom or bust players, you're going to have holes in your team, and when you get to the playoffs, that one guy that's been booming will bust. Whether it's a Josh Allen or whether it's a Lamar Jackson or a George Pickens, you got to be careful with the boom or bust guys. Even if they're consistently more boom than not, like you just got to be careful where you're spending your draft capital. I think Travis Etienne, if he falls to the 5th, you snag him. End of the 4th, definitely get him. I think 3rd is pushing too high for him. All right, let's talk about a round 6 target. If this guy falls to round 6, we want to take him. Consistently seeing him go end of the 5th, which I don't mind, but we're really looking for that cutoff, trying to have hard cutoffs here. And so if he gets to round 6, that's really where we want to pull the trigger here. And that is Mike Evans, recently acquired by the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Evans, we all thought was going to be a buck for life. It would have been cool. I think he wants to compete for another championship. He's extremely competitive. Everybody knows that. He's gotten in about 5 fist fights on the field. When they lose games, he's throwing his helmet. And, you know, last year was the first year in a long time, pretty much ever, that he battled some injuries. He didn't hit his 1,000 receiving yard mark, but when he came back, he looked like Mike Evans. He looked fantastic. He was going and winning jump balls. He was putting up big yards, numbers, touchdowns. He was awesome. And I just think he is going to be an absolute stud for the 49ers this year. And things just keep getting better for his situation. Just a couple days ago, we found out that Ricky Pearsall is going to be out for the season. That's more targets for Mike Evans. That's more yards for Mike Evans. That's more touchdowns for Mike Evans. And Mike Evans is going to take a lot of attention off CMC, potentially, and vice versa. And that's what you want. If attention's going to, maybe CMC was their workhorse, maybe CMC's getting more attention this year, and Mike Evans doesn't have to deal with doubles. I think based off his numbers last year, and a lot of people think he's aging, and I get it, he is on the older side. If he falls to that round, if he's fallen to round 6, I'm taking Mike Evans, certainly, as Brock Purdy's top target this season. On to round 7, we're going to be talking about Rico Dowdle. This dude was an absolute monster last season with the Panthers, and he's had a really weird career the last 2 seasons. 1,000-yard rusher in Dallas, and that's where I watched him for the first time. I was like, this dude's really good. They didn't bring him back. I was honestly shocked. He went to Carolina, and I was like, man, a 1,000-yard rusher is going to go back up a dude in Carolina. Okay. He gets an opportunity due to an injury to start for Carolina and just absolutely pops up. Anytime he's starting running back, anytime he touched the ball, it's like he was ripping off like 200-yard games like 2-3 times last year. And so he has back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and he's on his third team in 3 years. Now, I think Rico Dowdle has maybe a little toxicity. He's got a chip on his shoulder. But you know what? I think that's good for a guy like him. I think it helps him. I think it motivates him. And the fact that he's on a new team now in the Steelers, he is absolutely primed to take that first, second down work. Mike McCarthy is now the head coach there. He gets to pair up with Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be, I think, a more fun, fresh environment. And I really see Jaylen Warren now sliding back into that role he was initially in with the Steelers, and that's more of a third down back role. He's not a big dude. He's not a big in between the tackles. He's a good pass catcher, and he's just a little above average at everything. Where Rico Dowdle, he can hit space, he can run a dude over, like he's gonna get the goal line touches. He's going in like round 6, 7, sometimes 8, like I think Dowdle's an absolute smash if he falls to round 7. Like every time I'm seeing him around 7, it's like bye every single time. This dude could finish in the RB top 12 for sure. Like I would not surprise me in the absolute least. He's maybe one of the best values in the entire draft if you're getting him at round 7. And round 6 is where I'm also seeing him go, and I think that's fair value. But we're really looking for like hyper good value when we're targeting players. So like he falls to 7, he's ours. And lastly, we're going to be talking about Tucker Kraft. How is Tucker Kraft falling to round 8? I'm seeing him go in round 8 consistently. I think he was legitimately going to probably be the best tight end in football last year. He was an absolute monster. When you watched him play, he was Jordan Love's favorite target out on the field. And once he got hurt, production for everybody else dropped off. And I think coming back from injury and how deflated his stats were because of his injury last season, he's going so late. Like Tucker Kraft should be going as like in the top 3 tight ends in like the 3rd, 4th round, and I'm seeing him drop like consistently seeing him in the 7th, but dropping to the 8th. I am a Tucker Kraft believer. There are a lot of guys that are up in the air. I'm still trying to weigh in on. When I see it in a player, I know it. And Tucker Kraft has it. He has that it factor that you saw from a young Travis Kelce, from a young Rob Gronkowski. He has that factor. And if he stays healthy, this dude is finishing like tight end top 3, and he could be the overall tight end 1. I'm not over exaggerating when I say that. He is fully expected to be ready by week 1 as well, which is amazing news. Now I know it's optimistic and it's going to depend on your league and where you're drafting, and we're probably not going to get all these players, but just think about targeting rounds 1 through 8 if we're able to get at least a majority of these players there. You're looking at Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins, Jeremiah Love, Travis Etienne, Mike Evans, Rico Dowdle, Tucker Kraft, and obviously those are all, I think, like elite players for the most part, and you aren't going to get all of them, right? Some of those rounds are overlapping. Sometimes they're going to go higher, sometimes lower, and we'll take them. But the rounds you aren't getting those players, go fill the open positions that you have. Go grab a Josh Allen. Go grab a Lamar Jackson. Go get a Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts. Anyways, those are my favorite players. Rounds 1 through 8 that I am targeting. I'm going to be releasing some other shorts today as well with some other players we're looking at in those rounds. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel as we're trying to grow it. Hopefully going to be live streaming every Sunday of the season. Looking forward to that. Please drop some comments as well. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Are there any players that you are looking to target that were not mentioned here? Really excited to grow the community and hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm out.